Hey everyone, Hannah Johnson here. Now, we've all heard this when it comes to building wealth and making sure our money is growing, and that we need to diversify, 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 diversify. But what does that mean? Do we just diversify in different strategies and different plans in the market, or do we need to have our money in various forms and various different types of products to make sure that no matter what happens, our money is still growing somewhere? What does that true diversification mean? Well, I'm here to show you an example of what true diversification can look like. I started HLJ Growth because I saw huge gaps with financial education as well as protection around finances for business owners and entrepreneurs. And I figured there had to be something out there. So I went searching. And along the way, I found all these tools that we're not taught about in our first jobs where we're offered 401ks. We're not taught about them in schools or in colleges. Really, we have to do our own searching in order to find these tools. And this is where I said, you know what? Not everyone has the time to go searching for these tools. So why don't I give them to the public? And if they want help implementing them, that's where they can come to me. And that's how HLJ Growth was formed. I sit down with people, strategize with them about their money, what they're making, where they want to go, how they want to save it, what are the tax implications of tools that we're using to save for our futures, and really strategizing versus just giving somebody our money and throwing it in the market and hoping and praying it works out. A lot of times we're building a bridge for someone's current situation to where they want to go in the future. You have to really start early sometimes, strategizing and planning that bridge instead of coming to the point where the bridge needs to be there and wondering where it is. So that's where we're doing a lot of financial education and planning for individuals and their businesses. Hey everyone, Hannah Johnson here, and I'm going to go over our bucket strategy that I typically use with my clients. Now, there's a bazillion different types of bucket strategies out there, but this is the one that I've seen my clients be most successful in. So let's go over what those three buckets are. The first bucket is the green bucket, and the green bucket we call our liquid bucket. This is a super important bucket to have almost in every situation because our money is there and it's liquid. We want to be able to go quickly to the bank or wherever and get that money out as soon as possible. So we're going to have about 3 to 6 months of our expenses in that bucket. So if we get a flat tire or our AC unit needs to be replaced or the water heater needs to be replaced, we can make sure to do that easily without putting a lot of stress on the family finances. This is also great if you have a lot of kids and maybe in sports because accidents happen and Johnny broke his arm or rolled his ankle and needs crutches. This is where this liquid bucket would come into a huge help to not strain the family finances. Now, the second bucket is our safety bucket. In our safety bucket, we can pretty much estimate a growth of about 6 to 60%, depending on what strategies that you have with the tools that are in that bucket. So in this bucket, we have things like life insurance, mutual funds, CDs, all the things that we can put our money in that guarantee us that they're not going to lose. There's even a thing called indexed accounts. And if you don't know what an indexed account is, it's completely different than an indexed fund. So look up my YouTube video that's labeled indexed accounts and you'll find out exactly what it is. So in this safety bucket, it's really important that we actually have a good chunk of our money in that safety bucket, safe and sound, growing at a steady pace. Now our third bucket, which is our red bucket, we call that bucket our risky bucket. We call it risky because we have our money in products that we are pretty much all familiar with. We have our 401ks, we have crypto, we have gold and silver, we even have real estate in there, IRAs, stocks, bonds. Those are all things that are great to grow money in because there's huge upside potential for gain, but there's also that huge downside potential for loss. Hence why it's called risky, right? We want to make sure that we don't have everything in these items and these products, because what if we are growing our money all of our working years, and then close to the end, as we're putting more and more money in there, the market crashes, like it happened in 2008 and 01 and 02. The market crashes and our money vanishes into thin air. Then we're starting all over from scratch, and we might not have that much time to do it. So it's really important that as we're putting money in this risky account, we're also putting money in the safety account, so that if this risky bucket does plummet, which it's done several times in our history, we're okay because we have money in this safety bucket. Now, how much should I have in this risky bucket, and how much should I have in the safety bucket? Well, that depends on you and your unique situation. When is it that you want to retire and not have to worry about making money to pay your bills? That is how much you should really think about diversifying into these two buckets. So for example, let's say I'm 40 years old and I want to retire at the age of 60. Well, that actually adds up to about 2/3 of my money needs to be in the safety bucket and only 1/3 in the risky bucket. And the more and more and more that I get closer to retirement, to the age of 60, I'm going to continue to move little bits and pieces of money into the safety bucket. So the goal is, once I get closer to 60, or once I'm like 58, 59, I want all of my money in the safety bucket because I don't have time to make up for losses anymore. So that's a really good bucket strategy. Now, what is another tool that is out there that can actually save us in the event of a major sickness or injury from us having to tap into any of these buckets? It's an awesome thing called living benefits. And if you don't know what living benefits are, check out my YouTube video about living benefits so you can see how you can protect you and your family from financial devastation if, heaven forbid, a major sickness or injury happen.